Hello, welcome to Fernando-Travel channel. This channel is about travel. I visited 621 World Heritage Sites. Among them, I've selected 100 sites as wonderful World Heritage Sites. This time, I chose 36 sites in Europe. This is the list. There are 32 countries, and I intend to select as many countries as possible. Which scenery do you like? Please subscribe to my channel. Here we go! Berat and Gjirokastra are heritage sites of well-preserved Ottoman architecture. I thought Albania was a bit dangerous, but that's not the case. This picture is Gjirokastra. Salzburg is a religious city that prospered from the mining and trading of rock salt since BC. Today, it's also famous as the birthplace of Mozart, making it an irresistible place for classical musical fans. The Grand Place of Brussels is located in the old town of Brussels, the capital of Belgium. The square is surrounded by magnificent architecture. In addition to the city hall, there are buildings for different occupations called guild houses. The eastern corner is the mansion of the Duke of Brabant, part of which is now a hotel. I was able to stay in a room facing the square, which was great. Bosnia and Herzegovina is a multi-ethnic country with many conflicts. This bridge was destroyed during the Bosnian War. The bridge was restored in 2004 through international cooperation. Another World Heritage Site in this country is also a bridge called Mehmed Pasha Sokolovich Bridge in Visegrad. The Rila Monastery is headquarters of the Bulgarian Orthodox Church. After being rebuilt twice and ruled by the Ottoman Empire, it has become the spiritual pillar of the Bulgarian people. Building decorated with striped design stirs up exoticism. I stayed at the hotel next door, so I also visited the monastery at night. The appearance of the emerald green lakes, connected by large and small waterfalls, is truly fantastic and like a utopia. Unfortunately, it was raining all day on my visit, but on the contrary, there was a lot of water and the flow felt dynamic, a place I would like to walk again. The city is so beautiful that it's called Golden Prague. I don't remember any other capital of a country with such a historical building. In the mid-14th century, Prague was the capital of the Holy Roman Empire. Český Krumlov is a World Heritage Site that conveys the streets of the city since the Middle Ages. When asked to choose one over the as in comparison with the historic center of Prague? The answer is both. So I choose a similar historical district from the Czech Republic. It's a wonderful place. Kronborg Castle faces the strait and the opposite bank is Sweden. The fort was built in the 15th century to collect taxes from ships crossing the strait. I crossed this strait by ferry to Sweden. The city of Tallinn has developed as a Hanseatic city since the latter half of the 13th century and has both the colorful houses typical of Hanseatic cities and the characteristics of a walled city. All three Baltic capitals are World Heritage Sites. Tallinn, in particular, entertains tourists, including citizens in traditional costumes. Mont Saint-Michel is located on a rocky mountain in the sea about 5 kilometers from the coast, and is lined with buildings such as a monastery. It's revered as a sacred mountain. The entire Rocky Mountain is shaped like a beautiful triangular pyramid. In France, you can't miss this place, even if you miss out on some others. I stayed here for one night. Mount Athos is a Greek Orthodox holy site and has autonomy. No women are allowed, and the only way to enter the mountain is by boat. An entry permit is also required, making the visit extremely difficult. Of course, there is no guide, and I have no idea how to apply in advance to stay at a monastery. Around the 11th century, Greek Orthodox monks migrated to Meteora. The peculiar and awe-inspiring landscape was ideal for the monks. I ended up choosing two mixed heritage sites from Greece: the sacred mountain of Athos and Meteora cannot help but feel the strength of their religious spirit. That's why Meteora overwhelmed those who see it. From the 8th to the 14th century, castles and fortresses were built along the banks of the Rhine Valley to collect tools from ships passing through the river. I used to visit here when I was a student and stayed in a youth hostel in a converted castle. Hotbaji National Park has been used as grazing land since the Middle Ages, and only the horizon can be seen beyond the grasslands. I stayed at a guest house run by a cheerful host. I was put in a carriage and set out on the meadow. If you like horseback riding, it seems that you can also run through the grassland. I also saw a gray cow. I visited Iceland on my trip to Northern Europe. I have come a long way. This is Thingvellir National Park, where you can feel the workings of nature. With thousands of years of history, Rome is something special. It's best to be careful, but when I went, it was fine to walk around the city at night. This is a picture of the Trevi Fountain. The Aeolian Islands are islands north of Sicily. Volcanic activity continues even now, and some volcanoes repeat small eruptions. This photo shows the erupting Stromboli Island. Skellig Michael Island lies in the rough waters of the Atlantic Ocean. There is a masonry monastery on the island. It was difficult to go to Port Maggie, where the boat leaves, but I was able to go on the third challenge, even though the seas were rough and the boat did not leave. As a major center of the Hanseatic League, Riga prospered in Central and Eastern European trade from the 13th to the 15th centuries. The three Baltic countries, including Latvia, have convenient transportation and are easy to travel. There is no problem with security. Krunian Spit is a huge sandbar with a length of 98 kilometers that straddles Lithuania and Russia on the Baltic coast. Of course, I can't enter the Russian side. Amano Hashidate in Japan is about 3.2 kilometers. Barletta is a fortified city built by the Knights of St. John in preparation for an attack by the Ottoman Empire. Located in the middle of the Mediterranean Sea, it has been the site of many battles. I visited Malta during my trip to Sicily. A ship departed from a port in the south of Sicily, but the sea was rough and the schedule was changed. Jumitol National Park is a land where underground sediment from the Mesozoic to the Cenozoic Quaternary, about 250 million years ago, remain. It maintains the topography formed during the Ice Age, such as Jumitol Mountain, which has an altitude of 2,523 meters. I climbed Mount Jumitol, which took 6 hours round trip. Most of the buildings that remain today in Offrido were built in the 11th century during the Byzantine period. Together with the nature of Lake Offrido, it's registered as a mixed heritage site. The name Republic of North Macedonia was changed from Republic of Macedonia in 2019. This is a magnificent fjord area that stretches about 500 kilometers from north to south. This scenery spreads endlessly, and the waves are so quiet that it's hard to tell whether it's a cove or a lake. Ferries are the main means of transportation in this area, and I can enjoy the fjord just by taking a ferry. Auschwitz-Birkenau is known as the extermination camp of Nazi Germany. Although it's not classified by UNESCO, it's described as a negative heritage lesson for the future. It's not a place to go for sightseeing. Anguilla do Heroísmo is a port town on the island of Terceira in the Azores. It's located in the Atlantic Ocean about 1,500 kilometers west of Lisbon. It's a port city that developed as a stopover point for sea routes connecting the New World and the west coast of Africa during the Age of Discovery. Pico Island and Madeira Island are also recommended. This is Romanian churches of Moldova. Both the exterior and interior of these churches are covered with frescoes, and the roof protrudes greatly from the building to protect the mural painting from the wind, rain, and sunlight. It's said that this was done so that illiterate people could understand it. But when I saw it for the first time, I was surprised. San Marino is the fifth smallest city-state in the world because it's located on the top of Mount Titano. It has not been affected by urbanization and has many historical buildings from the 14th century onwards. It's in Italy, so access is no problem. Santiago de Compostela is one of the three major Christian pilgrimage sites where St. James rests. Many pilgrimage routes have developed from all over Europe and head here. The old town has a medieval feel to it. I wonder if the word time sleep exists for this. I love Spain because the food is delicious and it's easy to travel. Garahonai National Park is located on Gomera Island in the Canary Islands in the Atlantic Ocean. It's a volcanic island that has maintained an environment similar to that of 65 to 2 million years ago due to fog generated by humid sea breeze. Access is quite difficult. Visby is located in the center of the island of Gotland in the Baltic Sea. In the 12th century, German merchants settled here and prospered as a trading center. The day I visited was in the middle of a festival, and I was able to see a parade in folk costumes. Therefore, it was difficult to find accommodation. Although it's a remote island, it's now easily accessible by plane. Jungfraujoch has an altitude of 3,454 meters and can be reached by train. There is no such place anywhere in the world. Minus 11 degrees outside. I came to such a place in summer clothes. Europe's largest glacier lies and is truly a world of spectacular scenery. It's a heritage that tells the rise and fall of Kievan Rus, which flourished in the east of the Christian world from the 9th to the 13th century. At the time of my trip, Ukraine was in the midst of the Crimean conflict, but Kiev was unaffected. This photo shows Saint Sophia Cathedral. The Orkney Islands are islands further off the coast of Scotland, but are less accessible. It's a ruin that shows the characteristic of the agricultural culture that settled in northwestern Europe from around 4000 BC. The smallest independent country in the world, the Vatican is the center of the Catholic Church. It's located in the city of Rome, and the area is small, so it feels like visiting as part of sightseeing in Rome. The museum there is full of highlights, including the Sistine Chapel. It's a list of 36 wonderful World Heritage Sites Europe36. I'll attach the details. How was the wonderful World Heritage Sites Europe36? Were there any World Heritage Sites that you liked? Thank you for watching.